This government shutdown does not have to happen. We have a reality before us where 1.5 million troops, both those active duty and those in the Guard and Reserve, are on pins and needles where they're going to be able to feed their family marching forward. 15,000 National Guardsmen from Iowa were in danger of not being able to decide whether to put a down payment on a new car or being able to put food in the refrigerator. 2,000 of those members are right now deployed on the front lines in U.S. CENTCOM in Iraq. And even more of their families are wondering not only will they be safe, but will they be able to take care of their kiddos back home.
Iowa Congressman and combat aviator Zach Nunn laying out how the government shutdown affects service members and their families as the shutdown stretches into day 16. House Speaker Mike Johnson is warning that the White House may run out of money to pay our troops if the doors continue to stay closed much longer, potentially by the end of the month. Meanwhile, a federal judge has temporarily blocked the Trump administration from laying off more than 4,000 federal employees, calling the move, quote, politically motivated. It comes as OMB Director Russ Vought says that layoffs could exceed 10,000 federal employees. The Senate will try again today to pass the House-passed clean CR. So far, only 2 Democrats have voted with Republicans. Joining me now is Iowa Congressman Zach Nunn himself. Congressman, good to see you. Thank you very much for being here. You not only served in combat, but continue to serve in reserve capacity. Thank you for your service to our great nation. Your reaction to all of this and this federal judge trying to stop President Trump from cutting down government?
Well, Maria, you're absolutely right. First of all, it doesn't have to be like this. We know that a majority of the House, a majority of the Senate, a majority of the American people all want to see our government opening and functioning so that we can get down to the business of helping people. And you're absolutely right. I spoke with Iowa Guardsmen who were deployed to the Middle East, Sergeant Holmes and Major Winey, both highlighting the fact that they've had cancellations of orders, unable to execute. This is the gridlock that is happening as a result of a few Democrats wanting to shut down the government. And to your point, if Democrats don't want to have the OMB step in and start trimming the size of the federal government, then they need to open back up Congress and get the job done the appropriate way, and that's through the appropriations process.
Yeah, but if they open up government, Chuck Schumer won't be able to get at that podium on Saturday at the No Kings rally and pump his chest and saying, I'm fighting Trump. Is that what this is about? The optics of the Democrats showing they're tough and they're fighting Trump?
Maria, I have a colleague here in the Congress who's actually from New York who said, we don't govern by temper tantrum or by hurting millions of Americans who are leveraged as hostages during a shutdown. And I think you know who this individual is. That was Chuck Schumer in 2018. So you are absolutely right. This is the attitude of they've got a protest rally going on in the National Mall, and they're putting these individuals ahead of the rest of America. They're putting the health care of illegals to the tune of $1 trillion going into their subsidies, billions going to illegal health care coverage ahead of paying our military men and women in uniform. We all know this is wrong. It needs to end the political charade. Let's get back to the business of passing appropriations and doing the things that Congress was sent here to do by the American people.
Well, I mean, were you there last night when the Democrats went and protested outside of Mike Johnson's office? I mean, they are demanding to be heard.
This is just childish.
Yeah.
Breaking in, insulting Capitol Police, who are not getting paid, by the way, going through his office, tearing down posters. Anywhere else in the world, this would be seen for what it is, a charade of, made-up frustration. The reality is they have a job to do. Their voters sent them to do this, and that's to pass budgets, take care of the American people.
Yeah, it's incredible. These are elected officials, by the way, elected officials. Meanwhile, let me switch gears, tell you about Israel revealing the identities of 2 more hostages released by Hamas yesterday. The terrorist group claims that it now returned all the dead hostages that it could find. 19 bodies are still believed to be held in Gaza, including 2 Americans. Hamas claims they need special equipment to locate the rest of these bodies. Israel, meanwhile, keeping the threat of military action on the table. The country's defense minister directing the IDF to plan for the total defeat of Hamas if they do not abide by the peace deal brokered by President Trump. The president says the U.S. military will not need to get involved in this in making Hamas disarm. Israel will do the job. New details about the medical conditions of the freed Israeli hostages as well, and in what they endured in captivity. The Times of Israel is reporting that one hostage was held alone for all 738 days and lost between 30 and 40% of his body weight. Congressman, your reaction to this development over Hamas?
Yeah, Maria. Well, first and foremost, thank God the hostages are coming home. Yeah. This is a direct result of American peace through strength that Donald Trump has led since day one. Look, I've gone through survival school. I was only there for weeks. I can't imagine spending 2 years after being violently torn out of your country and held as a political hostage by a terrorist group, and then finally being able to come home. And here's the reality. Look, this makes not only Israel safer for both the Israeli and Israeli Americans who were rescued by President Trump, it makes Americans safer. By disarming Hamas, by capitulating by Iran their ability to fund this type of terrorism, we're making our home front safer as well. This is the reality. President Trump's been able to bring together not just Israel, but our Arab partners, and we can see a generational opportunity for both Israelis and Palestinians to throw off the shackles of Hamas and terrorism and start anew. And that's a direct result of President Trump's leadership.
Congressman, real quick on the Investing in America story, JBS Foods investing $135 million in a new sausage plant in Perry, Iowa, set to create 500 jobs for Iowans. You were there to break ground with local leaders in your district. Tell us more.
Hey, we've been fighting for this from the very start. This is 4 million Americans who are going to be able to have access to new pork products. It's $135 million in a hometown community of Perry, Iowa. It's also 500 new jobs. And it's not only Perry strong, but it's now become a recipe for how we can succeed in rural America across the country, leading our Rural Investment Act. And the president and the team have done a real commitment here to making sure these communities have a future forward. I'm thrilled by this, and a huge credit goes to the Perry community who we worked with hand in hand since the start to get this fresh restart for a hometown that's now going to have a bright future.
All right, congrats on that. We will keep watching all of it. Thank you, Congressman Zach Nunn, joining us this morning on Capitol Hill. We'll be right back.
Thanks, Maria.